Even if you take care of your car as per company guidelines to the dot, your car would probably not last more than 5 years. This is because you have been misled as to the optimal method in which you take care of your vehicle. So now we will tell you instead what you should do to maintain your engine. From flushing your coolant to maintaining your clutch, here are 11 tips to keep your car running well past 700,000 miles. How do these 11 tips help to keep your vehicle alive, and how are they any different from your normal maintenance? Well, let's find out together. Number 11. Flushing your coolant on time. Coolant is one of the most important parts of the automobile, as it regulates the temperature of the engine and ensures that it does not overheat. But what people don't realize is that this coolant slowly degrades over time and loses its cooling properties, which is why it needs to be replaced every 3 to 5 years. And when doing so, you should follow the manufacturer's instructions and never mix different colored coolants, as they each have varying temperature limits. If you notice your temperature gauge climbing well into the red, it might be time to switch off your vehicle and call a tow truck, because overheating caused by faulty coolant can lead to the piston heads melting, causing catastrophic damage. Number 10. Transmission fluid is to be replaced. Most drivers don't give a second thought to their vehicle's transmission fluid and instead think it is something they never have to change. That is, until, of course, their vehicle's gears begin to slip, by which point it will be too late. Transmission fluid is not something that people think about changing either, as it is a bit of a hassle to change, unlike oil, which can be done in a jiffy. Even if it looks and smells fine, you have to replace it every 60,000 to 90,000 miles to make sure that your engine is protected from catastrophic damage resulting from degraded transmission fluid. But if you thought that was something you didn't think of, wait till you hear the next tip. Number 9. Finding coolant leaks early. Coolant is not something that constantly runs out and has to be replaced every 6 months. Leaking coolant is often a symptom of a much larger problem, like a faulty or cracked radiator or a bad heater core, and can lead to wallet-emptying bills if not diagnosed in time. It's difficult to notice which part of the cooling system is suffering from a leak, which is why the engine is often subjected to a pressure test to find where exactly the leak originates. Fixing the source of the leak can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Number 8. Replacing spark plugs. Spark plugs are one of the most overlooked components of a car. Everyone thinks that spark plugs only need to be replaced when they fail, but doing so is a surefire way to get your vehicle to break down in 5 years. Engine spark plugs accumulate grime and dirt over time, which eventually causes the vehicle to misfire and even experience engine failures. Make sure to replace your spark plugs every 60,000 miles or so to ensure that your engine does not suffer damage from faulty spark plugs, and make sure to use high-quality spark plugs from companies like NTG and Bosch. Remember that a healthy spark plug ensures a healthy life for the engine. We often trust mechanics blindly, but the next tip will tell you why you should not do exactly that. Number 7. Don't trust automobile services blindly. You've probably experienced taking your car in for a routine check or oil change and gotten back a $2,000 estimate with the mechanic saying that your engine needs urgent care before it breaks down. You've probably even fallen for such a scheme out of fear that your car could suffer damage. But the thing is, more often than not, mechanics do this to meet quotas and sell more. When you get such an estimate, make sure to ask for photos and specs of what exactly they intend to repair and get a second opinion from an independent mechanic, because most of these urgent services aren't urgent at all. Number 6. The 3,000-mile rule. You might be surprised to hear this, but maintaining your car's oil levels as per company instructions might be doing your vehicle more harm than good. You heard that right. If you take a look at engines that have their oil changed every 10,000 to 15,000 miles, they'll be in much worse shape than expected. This is because companies only make sure your car lasts past the warranty, but certainly not more than that for business sake. This is why you should follow the 3,000-mile rule. The 3,000-mile rule states that you should replace the oil in your engine every 3,000 miles to ensure that your vehicle does not experience gradual engine failure from degraded oil, which is bound to take your engine out in a couple of years. But when you hear the next tip, you'll be amazed at how such a small change can cause a big difference. Number 5. Using the parking brake efficiently. Most people don't use the parking brake in the right manner, and it shows when people bring their cars in for servicing. Most people often leave their cars on the parking gear of their car alone and then engage the parking brake. What you don't realize is that the parking gear is only additional support, while the parking brake is the main support. Using the parking gear alone and putting the entire weight of the gear on one small gear can cause severe strain to the gearbox and can eventually even shatter it. This is why you should always engage your parking brake before putting your car in park mode. Number 4. The click exists for a reason. You've probably visited gas pumps 1,000 times by now and gone through the procedure of topping your vehicle's gasoline levels off. But what many people don't realize is that they should stop trying to pump gas after the nozzle clicks in the attempt to save a few dollars, because it could be severely damaging your emission system. Overfilling your tank and leaving no space for fuel vapors leads to liquid fuel pouring into vapor lines, which damages the sensors and costs anywhere from $300 to $900 to repair. So the next time you hear the fuel pump click, keep the nozzle back even though you feel tempted to get those last few drops in. Number 3. Maintain your timing belt. The timing belt of your car is the reinforced rubber belt that connects the crankshaft and camshaft together. But it's often overlooked and never maintained because drivers think that it needs no maintenance. But the timing belt is a very crucial component and needs to be maintained, as it is the part that connects the pistons of the engine to the valves. The timing belt tends to deteriorate much faster than the other parts of a car, as it's made of rubber, and the fact that it is constantly working can cause the timing belt to deform and lose shape, becoming inefficient and, in worst-case scenarios, causing the engine to slip and suffer severe damage. This is why it is recommended to change the timing belt every 60,000 miles to ensure that the engine runs smoothly. Number 2. Take your foot off the clutch. Manual drivers have the habit of resting their foot on the clutch of the car while driving, which is a habit that is slowly but surely destroying the clutch of your car, and replacing it can cost anywhere from $750 to $2,000, depending on the extent of the damage. Resting your feet on the clutch of your car while driving places pressure on the disc and flywheel of the clutch, which eventually causes the clutch to completely wear out within 40,000 to 60,000 miles. Make sure to put your car in neutral at lights and only use your clutch while shifting to ensure maximum lifespan for your clutch. But the final tip that I have to give you is sure to change the way you see your vehicle. Number 1. The engine mount death test. The engine mount of a car shows no signs of distress till it completely crashes and causes catastrophic damage to the vehicle. The engine mount connects the engine to the chassis of the car and absorbs shocks and vibrations produced by the engine while it operates. An easy way to test whether the engine mount is still functional is to do the death test, where you put your foot on the brake and rev your car up to 2,000 RPM. If the engine even shifts an inch, you can be sure that the mount is failing or has failed.